Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Majestic fiery red, Do Chi surged out of Hong Qian Xiao's body. He drew two 10-foot-long scimitars that violently danced. Finally, they collided with the earth demon puppet. An intense big battle immediately erupted. The lightning glow flickering on the long-eyebrowed, old man's body became increasingly dense upon seeing Hong Qian Xiao successfully block the earth demon puppet. He stared at Xiao Yan as he said in a deep voice, "This 9 heavenly lightning prison formation is a great formation of my wind lightning northern pavilion. It is formed by 23 expert Do Huangs and 46 expert Do Wangs. Moreover, the 3 of us will act as the center of the formation. If you are able to break through it today, your name Xiao Yang will be able to shake the entire northern region of the Central Plains." Boom. 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 The 2 fierce attacks were slowly annihilated. A powerful energy wave spread in a swift and ferocious manner. However, it ended up scattering when it reached a distance of 100 feet around both Xiao Yang and the long-eyebrowed elder. Xiao Yang's gaze slowly swept over the 3 elders. There was a lightning light pillar on their heads that shot into the thunder clouds. Among the 3 of them, only the long-eyebrowed elder directed the attacks. The remaining 2 seemed to be pouring all the Do Chi within their bodies into this thunder clouds. This great formation is indeed somewhat profound heaven lightning skill. The face of the long-eyebrowed elder was cold and stern while the seals on his hands swiftly changed. The lightning clouds randomly churned in the sky. An instant later, his finger suddenly pointed at Xiao Yang. The thunder clouds churned as a countless number of enormous serpent-like thunderbolts shot out of it. Finally, they struck at Xiao Yang from all directions. Their mighty aura caused one's heart to feel afraid. Xiao Yang's feet gently stomped down as a jade-green flame surged from his body. It immediately permeated the space hundreds of feet around him. The flame fiercely rose and agglomerated into an enormous fire wolf that howled at the sky. It widened its enormous mouth and a suction force surged out. The thunderbolts that shot over were swallowed by it. After the thunderbolt was completely swallowed by the fire wolf, wave after wave of muffled thunder began to be emitted from the enormous body of the fire wolf. Its body had also become a little paler. However, it ultimately refined those thunderbolts. Tian Huazunja's reminder suddenly sounded within Xiao Yang's heart. Xiao Yang nodded slightly upon hearing this. He inhaled a deep breath of air and his finger gently pressed on the fire seal on his head. It formed a hook, and a dense white-colored flame swiftly came out from it. Xiao Yang grabbed the bone-chilling flame the moment it appeared. The jade-green flame split apart, transforming into the fallen heart flame and the green lotus core flame. 3 types of heavenly flames were suspended in front of Xiao Yang. Finally, the 3 kinds of flames suddenly started to merge when his hand was clenched. Immediately, a frighteningly wild and violent force spread out. 3 types of heavenly flame. How is this possible? The 3 elders, who had not shown emotional fluctuations earlier, changed their expressions when they saw the 3 types of heavenly flames in front of Xiao Yang. All of them involuntarily let out a cry of disbelief. The expression of the long-eyebrowed old man also became much gloomier after his startled cry sounded. His gaze was exchanged with the other 2. They grit their teeth and the seal on their hands began to change. Following the rapid change in their hand seals, the lightning pillar that was emitted from their heads became stronger. After receiving such a great amount of lightning Do Chi, the lightning cloud in the sky appeared like a creeping ancient fierce beast. It emitted waves of low and deep rumbling sounds that caused one's head to feel numb. A similarly wild and violent energy was swiftly formed at the same time. When the wild and violent energy was formed, the faces of the 3 elders gradually became pale. 3 types of heavenly flames were merging in Xiao Yang's hand. While they were merging, threads of destructive strength quietly seeped out. This caused the spatial strength around Xiao Yang to form some thread-like dark black cracks. Cracks had suddenly appeared in the air at this moment. With this current condition of Xiao Yang, it was not difficult for him to merge the 3 types of heavenly flames. Hence, a basin-sized 3-colored fire lotus slowly appeared on his palm a short couple of minutes later. The 3-colored fire lotus rotated slowly. Each time it did so, some dark black lines appeared in the surrounding space. After the cry of the 3 people sounded, a soul-stirring explosion was immediately emitted from the thundercloud. The churning speed also came to a slow stop. Immediately, bright silver glows shot out and an enormous lightning fist, a couple of 100 feet in size, broke through the thundercloud. It then came crushing down. Sharp sonic booms from all over the sky basically appeared one after another as the fist appeared. Continuous crackling sounds appeared as well. Even the street on the ground had suddenly cracked apart, revealing an enormous fist imprint. The enormous lightning fist carried a frightening strength as it came smashing down. That momentum was basically one that aimed to completely destroy everything in front of it. However, a three-colored light was advancing under the cover of the frightening fist without facing any resistance. Although its size was small, the destructive strength that seeped out of it brought forth spatial crack lines while it progressed. Bright glaring light energy appeared like a sun, which suddenly appeared in the sky. The intensity of the light had basically caused this weather, which had become a little dim because of the thunderclouds, to become extremely bright. The strength of such a glow had far exceeded the fiery hot sun in the distant sky. Just what kind of intense glow was this? It was likely that no one in this world had seen such an intense light. A person's eyes would likely only see a complete whiteness. This place seemed completely empty, causing everyone's hearts to be startled. The loud rumbling thunder appeared, just like the roar of a thunder god that reverberated over the sky. However, the expected soul-stirring explosion did not appear. The spot where the three-colored lotus made contact with the enormous lightning fist had numerous spatial folds that were visible to the naked eye. The two extremely frightening energies were quietly eroding each other. Along with the erosion of the two frightening energies, a half-foot-wide black hole slowly appeared. The space where the two energies collided could not endure the other's presence and ended up forming some spatial cracks. The spatial black hole gradually widened. It spread until it was around 100 feet in size in front of the countless number of shocked eyes. The enormous lightning fist and the three-colored fire lotus had begun to fluctuate following the growth of the spatial black hole. Numerous thunderbolt-like silver snakes followed the enormous fist as they wildly poured down. They were violently channeled toward the fire lotus. In the face of the enormous lightning fist's wild and violent attack, the three-colored fire lotus became unusually calm. It rotated slowly and numerous fire seedlings that vaguely carried three colors were emitted, blocking all of those silver bolts of lightning that came pouring down. Although the battle between the two was completely silent and an overly soul-stirring explosion did not occur, anyone with some eyesight could tell that such an exchange was even more frightening and dangerous. Within 100 feet radius of this exchange, everyone, including Xiao Yan and the three-wind lightning nor the pavilion elders, would likely end up in a miserable state. The space around that location had already been covered by wave after wave of extremely wild, frighteningly violent energy. The fire lotus slowly rotated. Following each of its rotations, the enormous lightning fist vaguely became a little dimmer. At the same time, the expressions of the three elders also became even paler. The destructive strength within the fire lotus caused them to possess a fear that unfurled from deep within their souls. Crack. The rotating speed of the three-colored fire lotus suddenly became much faster, in front of an innumerable number of gazes. Following the increase in its speed, the rate at which the enormous lightning fist became dimmer increased. In the end, the fist suddenly trembled and numerous crack lines slowly spread out in front of the shocked eyes of the three elders. Eventually, it emitted a crack sound and collapsed into a countless number of silver-colored light spots. Under the might of the great formation, the three elders' all-out attack was unable to block the frightening three-colored fire lotus. If Xiao Yang had relied on his own strength to create this three-colored fire lotus, it was naturally extremely difficult for him to achieve this effect. However, the current Xiao Yang had borrowed the strength of Qian Huazunjia. Thus, his strength had already reached a frightening level. The strength of the three-colored fire lotus, that he had currently displayed, was naturally extremely frightening. After all, the Angry Buddha Lotus Flame was a powerful Do technique, where its strength would accompany an increase in Xiao Yang's strength. As long as Xiao Yang's strength continued to rise, the power of the Angry Buddha Lotus Flame would also become more and more terrifying. The lightning pillars ruthlessly attacked the fire lotus, but they did not cause it to pause even a little as three-colored fire seedlings rose out. These fire seedlings might appear to be the size of a finger, but they instantly vaporized the lightning pillars into nothingness upon contact. This scene caused everyone to tremble in fear. The lightning pillars did not stop the attack of the fire lotus. While the fire seedling rose, the light ray that was formed by the fire lotus charged into the thunder clouds, heaven hall, scatter formation. The eyes of the long-eyebrowed elder immediately shrank to the size of a pinhole upon seeing the fire lotus barging into the thundercloud. A horrified loud cry rumbled. However, before the wind-lightning Northern Pavilion's experts at the exterior of the formation could recover from his cry, the interior of the thundercloud emitted a soul-stirring explosion that resounded over the place. Immediately, an enormous fire wave surged out in an untamed floodwater-like manner. The thundercloud endured for an instant in the face of the attack from the enormous fire wave, before it burst apart, transforming into clusters of tiny electric glows as it did so. The thundercloud was created by the experts from the wind-lightning Northern Pavilion and the three elders. Hence, they were naturally implicated now that it had been destroyed. The thunderbolt curtain that had spread all over the place immediately disappeared. Numerous grug sounds of blood being spat out repeatedly resounded over Tien Bay City. Some of the people standing on the buildings fell down headfirst. The people within Tien Bay City involuntarily wiped off their cold sweat when they heard the sound of blood being vomited from all directions. That majestic storm had also been vaporized by the fire wave in the sky. The stormy weather from earlier had turned into one with clear skies that stretched for thousands of kilometers. Even the joint effort of the three elders from the wind-lightning pavilion and the use of the 9 heavenly lightning prison formation cannot trap him. This Xiao Yan is really too terrifying. After fighting the wind-lightning Northern Pavilion's 3 elders and the many experts by himself, it is likely that Xiao Yan's name will spread over the entire northern region within a short couple of days. Ha ha, it is really joyous. I have not wasted a trip this time around. This big battle is the most intense one that I have seen in my life. It is likely that Xiao Yan could hardly find an opponent among the younger generation. It is rumored that the wind-lightning pavilion has a certain Feng Xiaojia. Her training talent is considered extremely outstanding and is the choice as the next Eastern Pavilion head. I wonder if she will be able to fight against Xiao Yang. The bodies of the long-eyebrowed elder and the 2 others in the sky stilled momentarily while the entire city emitted numerous private conversations. Their faces had finally turned pale white, while their breathing had become sluggish. The forceful scattering of the thundercloud was very harmful to them. Retreat. The hand of the long-eyebrowed old man trembled slightly. A moment later, he finally clenched his teeth and softly spoke a word, "Let's leave first." With a stern cry, the long-eyebrowed elder and the other 2 unleashed their remaining Do Chi. Lightning glows surged and the 3 of them turned into 3 rays of light that rushed out of Tien Bay City in a lightning-like manner. After which, they disappeared into the horizon. Xiao Yang beckoned with his hand after seeing the 3 elders fleeing into the distance. He held the 3 storage rings in his hand. It was not that he did not intend to kill all of them, but these 3 stuck together like chewing gum. If he were to really force them until that stage, it was likely that Xiao Yang would lose more than he gained. He was able to defeat the 3 of them, but killing them would require him to pay quite a terrible price. Xiao Yang glanced at the storage rings. His finger rubbed over them. Borrowing Tian Huazun's majestic spiritual strength, he was able to easily remove the spiritual imprints on them. Xiao Yang's spirit swiftly invaded the rings after having removed the imprint. After a search, 3 bright silver-colored scrolls flashed and appeared in his hand. They were indeed with these 3 old fellows. These 3 silver-colored scrolls were similar to the one he had obtained from Chen Yun. Even the blood veins on its surface were exactly the same. Clearly, these 3 scrolls should be part of the 3,000 lightning illusionary body. However, he did not know whether he would be able to obtain a complete version of them after including the scroll already in his hands. Xiao Yang could not help but feel a little anxious after thinking until this point. Of course, he would naturally not test it in this kind of situation. He flipped his hand and stored the 3 scrolls into his storage ring. Immediately, his dark eyes slowly turned to Hong Tianxiao, who was still entangled with the earth demon puppet. The killing intent within Xiao Yang's heart was even more intense when it came to this old man. He knew that the news of Chen Yun dying to his hands had been spread by this fellow. The information that the people from the Wind Lightning Pavilion had on him should have also been revealed by this old man. It might not be possible to kill the 3 elders today, but this Hong Tianxiao needed to die. Hong Tianxiao, who was fighting with the earth demon puppet in the distance, had naturally also sensed that the 3 elders had fled after being defeated. His expression immediately became extremely ugly. These 3 old bastards. Hong Tianxiao roared furiously within his heart. He had just forced back the earth demon puppet when he sensed a pair of ice-cold eyes that contained a killing intent being shot over from a distance. Hong Qianxiao's expression instantly became much paler, after sensing the density of the killing intent within those eyes. His mouth was filled with bitterness. At this moment, he had finally understood just what kind of frightening existence he had offended this time around. Fire-red Do Qi appeared, just like a fire as it emitted some heat, and wrapped Hong Qianxiao within it. His hand was holding a scimitar that was over 10 feet long. It danced in a mighty manner, as it carried a blade glow that contained a hot wind and whizzed out. They immediately hacked at the Earth Demon puppet's body. The scimitar violently hacked at the body of the Earth Demon puppet. Under the full strength of Hong Qianxiao, some scars appeared on the silver surface of the puppet's body. However, no fresh blood flowed out. The Earth Demon puppet appeared to be completely unaware of these wounds on its body as its powerful fist carried a low, deep sonic boom that smashed toward Hong Qianxiao. This caused Hong Qianxiao to appear a little miserable as he tried to dodge. After all, he was not immune to all sorts of pain like the Earth Demon puppet. The corner of Hong Qianxiao's eyes drifted toward the figure that was slowly stepping through the empty air. His originally ugly face had become much darker. With a furious cry, the large blade in front of him danced and formed a wild wind. Sharp blade glows emitted shua-shua sounds as they threw the Earth Demon puppet's fist aside. Fire-splitting blade. The fiery red Do Qi agglomerated crazily on the enormous blade. Hong Qianxiao's eyes turned cold as furiously hacked down. The blade glow cut through space and ruthlessly struck into the Earth Demon puppet's arm. The blade cut half an inch into it. The fiery red blade caused a kai-kai sound to appear, while white smoke was emitted from the Earth Demon puppet's arm. Bang! The eyes of the Earth Demon puppet remained empty despite having suffered such an attack. It ignored the large blade in its arm as a silver-colored fist was suddenly thrown forward. It ruthlessly smashed into Hong Qianxiao's chest. A frightening strength surged out when the fist came smashing over. Hong Qianxiao's throat let out a muffled moan. His body shook and he hurriedly stepped back. A thread of sweetness in his throat was forcefully held back by him. Since you dared to hurt my puppet, you shall die. Hong Qianxiao's feet stabilized his body. Before had time to do anything else, however, a somewhat indifferent voice suddenly sounded behind him. The voice was transmitted into Hong Qianxiao's ears, and his eyes immediately shrank. His gaze looked in the direction where Xiao Yan had been, only to see an afterimage slowly disappearing. A chill suddenly surfaced in Hong Qianxiao's heart, as he looked at the scattering afterimage. The chill had just materialized when frightening wind suddenly shot over from behind him. Hong Qianxiao hurriedly turned around while he was feeling shock in his heart. His hand holding the large fiery red blade did not hesitate even a little. He agglomerated the Do Qi all over his body and ruthlessly hacked down. Xiao Yan, you bastard! You actually dared to deceive the old me. Hong Qianxiao immediately let out a furious roar upon sensing the great strength of the wind behind him. He immediately swung the scimitar in his hand ruthlessly toward his back. Finally, a clear clang-clang sound appeared as it cut onto the arm of the Earth Demon puppet. However, the puppet did not step back. Instead, it strode forward, pulled its arms apart, and firmly hugged Hong Qianxiao. Hong Qianxiao was startled when his limbs were restrained. He quickly began to struggle. Fire-red Do Qi surged out of his body like an erupting volcano. However, the Earth Demon puppet firmly restrained Hong Qianxiao under Xiao Yan's orders. It completely ignored the heat of the Do Qi. The old me will definitely not allow you to kill me this easily. Hong Qianxiao's eyes revealed a craziness after becoming aware that Xiao Yan had the intention of killing him off after he had been restrained by the Earth Demon puppet. The Do Qi within his body collided. Immediately, a wild, violent force hurriedly surged out. From its appearance, this old fellow was actually thinking of self-destructing. Xiao Yan appeared to have anticipated Hong Qianxiao's plan. The Do Qi in his body surged, and his body rushed forward in a ghost-like manner. His eyes were ice-cold while a jade-green fire palm appeared. It was just like a flame cone, as it was viciously pierced forward. The struggling Hong Qianxiao suddenly stiffened amid a soft sound. He slowly lowered his head with much difficulty, and looked at the fire hand that had penetrated his chest. The viciousness in his eyes had yet to reach its peak when they solidified. Xiao Yan was expressionless, after having destroyed Hong Qianxiao's life force with a single attack. Xiao Yan suddenly placed his hand on Hong Qianxiao's head and violently pulled. An illusionary spiritual body was immediately pulled out. Little bastard Xiao Yan. The old me shall die with you today. The illusionary Hong Qian Xiao's spirit had just been pulled out when it let out a vicious roar. However, before his soul could self-destruct, a majestic spiritual strength had surged out of Xiao Yang's body and violently collided with the soul. Immediately, Hong Qian Xiao's soul turned illusionary, and the sanity within his eyes swiftly disappeared. Collisions between spirits was the most dangerous thing that could happen. If one was careless, not only would one's mind be damaged, but the other party's mind would also suffer some injuries. However, it was fortunate that after having borrowed the spiritual strength of Tian Huizanja, Xiao Yang's spiritual strength was far stronger than Hong Qian Xiao's spiritual strength. Hence, this collision had greatly reduced the consciousness within Hong Qian Xiao's soul. Xiao Yang grabbed Hong Qian Xiao's soul when he saw the paralysis appear in his eyes. A majestic spiritual strength was like a bandit, as it used the most brutal method to barge into Hong Qian Xiao's soul. After sweeping through it, Xiao Yang completely removed his consciousness. Xiao Yang swiftly took out a jade bottle after having eliminated the consciousness. After which, he stuffed the spirit into it. His hand rubbed over it and an invisible flame appeared. A fire seal was placed on the mouth of the bottle, a 5-star Dozong's spirit and body. My reward is quite great this time around. If I am able to obtain another rank 7 monster core, I will be able to refine another puppet. Of course, the precondition is if I am lucky enough to successfully refine it. Xiao Yang smiled and softly replied, I have already offended the Wind Lightning Pavilion. If I entangle myself with all of you, it is likely that the matter today will occur again. Cuckoo, when my strength reaches a level where I am no longer afraid of the Wind Lightning Pavilion, I will come visit the Han clan. I hope you won't end up chasing me away at that time. Han Shui tightly bit her lower red lip with the back of her teeth. Her lovely body had a kind of unsteady feeling. She was vaguely aware that she might really have difficulty meeting Xiao Yang again in the future after they parted ways today. Xiao Yang, thank you. The Han clan will remember this favor of yours. Han Yu softly sighed softly. She stepped forward, pulled Han Shui, and gently spoke to Xiao Yang. Senior Han Yu is really too courteous. I am merely resolving trouble that I created. Xiao Yang smiled. He immediately looked at the pale-faced Han Shui and sighed within his heart. Cupping his hands together, he said, help me bid big brother Han Chong and the rest goodbye. You are the first group of friends that I have made after arriving in the Central Plains region. Hopefully, we will meet again. Xiao Yang's voice sounded before his body trembled and slowly disappeared. Han Shui watched the gradually disappearing Xiao Yang. She finally involuntarily pounced into Han Yu's embrace and began to cry. Han Fei's figure hurriedly appeared at the entrance of the yard. However, when he saw the crying Han Shui, he could only let out a sigh. His gaze looked to the distant sky as he muttered, little friend Xiao Yang, the Han clan will accept this favor of yours. We will definitely repay you in the future if we have the opportunity to. Bone Transforming City, a city not smaller than Tianbei City. However, it was quite far from Tianbei City. It was barely outside of the Wind Lightning Pavilion's influence. This city was controlled by a faction called the Bone Transforming Gate. Although there were many other factions beneath it, all of them had difficulty contending with the Bone Transforming Gate. Moreover, this Bone Transforming Gate did things in a moderate manner. Although it would occupy a lion's share, it would not swallow all the profits that existed. Hence, it had always been the overlord of the Bone Transforming City during these years. There was seldom any factions who would stand up and challenge them. The chief of Bone Transforming Gate practiced a water affinity chi method and was a little unusual. Hidden force would unknowingly enter his opponent's body before it would gently disperse. If one were to be struck by this force, one's bone would even show signs of weakening. Hence, the Bone Transforming Gate was renowned even among the surrounding cities. This city was also the first place Xiao Yang had stopped to rest after starting his crazy journey from Tianbei City. During his journey, he went in the deep mountains and hidden forests as he traveled in a single direction. According to his guess, he should have already left the territory of the Wind Lightning Pavilion. Moreover, he was unfamiliar with this place and did not know the roads. Randomly flying around was not a solution. Hence, he chose to obtain a map of the northern region first. Thus, he would not end up flying around like a housefly without direction. Moreover, he needed to search for the medicinal ingredients that were necessary to refine the soul cleansing pill, as well as to inquire about some information. The interior of the Bone Transforming City had mainly been decorated with a pale white color. At a glance, it seemed as though it was a city completely built from bones. It caused one to feel a faint chill within their hearts when they looked at it. However, the liveliness of the city was not lessened as a result of chill. A noisiness that shot to the sky could be clearly heard even from a great distance. This was the first time Xiao Yan had entered a human city, after having traveled at a crazy pace for a couple of days. He involuntarily felt somewhat unused to the noisiness that he felt. Immediately, he shook his head and walked into the city. A map of the northern region was not considered an overly rare item. Xiao Yan did not spend much effort before finding a map shop, called Map Court. He entered it, saw the many maps piled within and felt a little absent-minded. When he had met Haibudong in the Jioma Empire for the first time, he obtained the second map fragment of the purifying demonic lotus flame from the map shop. The purifying demonic lotus flame has been called the clean lotus demon flame earlier in the story. Xiao Yan helplessly sighed when he thought of the purifying demonic lotus flame. Ever since he had obtained the third map fragment, he had not been lucky enough to chance upon the fourth map fragment, causing him to feel extremely regretful. The purifying demonic lotus flame was ranked third on the heavenly flame ranking. Even Yao Lao had only heard of its name and had never seen its form. Hence, one could tell just how mysterious and powerful this thing was. If Xiao Yang successfully swallowed it, his strength would soar like crazy. Unfortunately, Xiao Yang suppressed the sadness in his heart. He slowly walked into the shop. There was an old man in the shop, but he was not some expert. His face had the shrewdness that a merchant ought to have. Xiao Yang glanced over him. The strength of this old man had just reached the doce's class. It seemed that his training talent was really insignificant. This young brother, are you planning to purchase a map? That old man hurriedly stood up and asked a question with a smile when he saw Xiao Yang enter. Give me the most precise map of the northern region you have. Xiao Yang nodded and made a request. His gaze slowly swept over the shop carefully. A moment later, he withdrew his gaze with some disappointment. He was foolishly hoping that the matter back then would occur once again. Young brother, this is the map you requested. It is the most detailed one created by my shop, and it is worth 30,000 gold coins. The old man swiftly pulled out an extremely beautiful scroll from a platform, and handed it to Xiao Yang, before speaking with a smile. 30,000 gold coins. Xiao Yang involuntarily rolled his eyes when he heard the price. This old fellow was really merciless when it came to ripping someone off. Xiao Yang randomly opened the map and studied it a little. After finding that it was indeed somewhat detailed, Xiao Yang found he was too lazy to argue with the old man. He handed over the gold coins required, turned around, and started to leave. Young brother, please wait. The old man suddenly cried out when he saw Xiao Yang turning around to leave. What is it? Xiao Yang frowned and demanded. Young brother really looks quite foreign. You should not be a person from the bone-transforming city, right? Are you also here, because of the heavenly mountain blood pool in the Heaven Eye mountain range? The old man inquired as he smiled. Part 1 end here.